Alright everyone, welcome to another video here on the channel. I thought we would do something interesting today. Um, because why not? We're gonna do a Wizard101 world tier list. Because like I said, why not? Something interesting, something fun, because I'm bored and don't know what else to do right now. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Um, alright, so let's just cut the chit chat and let's go ahead and get started. So I was watching something, which is what gave me the idea to do this, and the person said that this little like goldish looking Wizard City icon, like to them, would represent the OG like old Wizard City. So like what it used to be before they updated it and changed a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna go with that too because honestly I kind of like that because I really don't know what this is supposed to be otherwise. So yeah, let's say we're just gonna go with that. Um, Yeah, so immediately we're putting, it's gonna be, or I know we literally just started, it's literally gonna be our first triple S tier world. Um, because OG Wizard City to me, um, is a triple S tier because as someone who played this game, who has played this game for 10 plus years now, I just can't forget the feeling I had when I first started playing every time I walked through Wizard City. Like, it's like, you load in on a new character. And while some stuff is different, which is what we'll get to here in a second when I cover the new version of Wizard City, um, you just never forget what it felt like the first time you loaded into the game. The confusion of not knowing what to do, unless you did. I mean, even if you did the tutorial, let's be honest, we probably all were still a little confused at first, because a lot of us have probably been playing this game since we were like kids. Um, but um, yeah, I said every time I'd load in on a new character, I just love getting that same feeling that I did whenever I first started playing the game. It just makes me feel so good. But other than that, we got like I said, the new current Wizard 101 or Wizard City, sorry. Um, and it's to me gonna be in the I mean it's all right category. And the reason I say that is because when I think about the new Wizard City, I feel like although it has the teleporters now, which is very helpful getting around the areas and stuff, um, they changed so much about the OG storyline and like as talking about the main quest, and it's just hard to kind of feel the nostalgia as far as like main questing because like although Unicorn Way is technically the same, Unicorn Way really isn't a problem. It really isn't a problem. The quest line's really the same. They just moved the people around and made it look different. So like that's really cool. Um, but like when you get to Triton Avenue, um, you gotta save Susie instead of Arter, and it was like that was really weird and random change, and I feel like it wasn't really needed. But whatever. Um, Firecat Alley, Private Quinn is just like this like scared little boy apparently, not a a guard who used to be the person who was like friends with the fire elves trying to help cure them. Da 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 da. Um, Cyclops Lane is honestly really the same, but instead of like saving them from the dude, General Achilles at the end of the world, at the end of the area, now you have to like free them from the dark cave after defeating a rotting fodder to get the dark talisman or whatever. Um, so I mean that's kind of interesting, I guess. Like other than that, the only other thing that I don't like that they did, and I've heard a lot of people say this, is how they added the fight where you got to fight the two field guards after you defeat Lord Nightshade. Because I feel like once you finish the final boss of a world, they shouldn't have any more fighting quests after that. Like, obviously, you finish the final boss of the world, you're going to be talking, doing some talking quests before you start the next world. And, even, doing solo fights or something to start the next world, but it's not considered to be in that world. So the fact that they added the two field guard fight after Lord Nightshade just really kind of adds to my list of why I don't like it as much anymore and why it got put in the it's alright category. Okay, but so moving on to Krokotopia, I'm gonna put it in the really good world. because you'll probably notice a trend that I have with the Arc 1 worlds. But as I said, with the OG Wizard City, um, I have so many memories of my first time playing through Krokotopia. Um, and I just love replaying this world because the world looks good, the story's good, um, which just makes it nice and fun to play through, in my opinion. I don't think they've really changed much about like the whole quest situation or anything. I'm pretty sure all the quests are still the same for the most part. But like I said, they updated the world, made it look a little better. As far as like the Oasis is concerned, I know most of the areas still look the same, but I've always kind of liked Krokotopia. It's not like Triple S tier in my opinion, but it's like a really good world. Um, but moving on to Marleybone, this is also going to be a really good world, but it's going to go above Krokotopia. Um, because I kind of like Marleybone better than Krokotopia anyway. But I really enjoy like the vibe of the world, the story of the world is interesting as well. Since you, for some reason, to me, the whole idea of helping Sherlock Bones hunt down the criminals and stop Pops O'Leary, and then you have to go to the Scotland Yard to do like those areas up there to try to stop Meowie Artie, and then you have to go do Big Ben. Um, just for us to finally get to the whole reason of us coming there was uh which was to get the Croconomicon, just for them to be like, oh yeah, by the way, it's not here. So then you're just like, well, that's lovely. uh but yeah, those are the reasons that I pretty much just really love Marleybone. um I do like I think the only thing that I don't like is that like all the areas look so similar that you just don't even know where you're at unless you open your map to look at what area you're at. Because every area is just you're on a roof, except for Regent Square, obviously, and then like Digmore Station. Those are like obviously two of the ones, obviously those are different. And the museum also. But like every other area, except for like the last three dungeons of the world and the three areas that I named just a second ago, just everything looks so similar. That's the only thing that really, in my opinion, is probably keeping it from being a triple S tier world. So yeah. Um, moving on to Mooshu. This one is going to be my second triple S tier world. I really like the aesthetic. I'm like a whole like I like the Chinese/Japanese type buildings and like the cherry blossom trees, and I just like all that kind of stuff. So I really like this world mainly because of how it looks. The quests aren't really that crazy, in my opinion. I mean, you're literally just running around defeating a bunch of Onis just for you to, get to the end of the world. And the Emperor gets turned into a Jade Oni, and then you fight him, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, Malistaire stole the key and is now in Dragonspyre. So it's like another world where, you just quest through and do like all this random stuff to help save the world, which is, I mean, what you're basically doing is saving each one of these worlds, from annihilation, apparently. Um, yeah, Mushu is, like I said, triple S tier in my opinion, mainly because of the design and the way it looks, but also, but I mean, I do like the quests and everything. Um, so yeah, but Dragonspyre, not even gonna lie to you, it's going in absolute garbage. The, I mean, the Malistaire fight at the end is really good. But the reason that this is going in absolute garbage because of the garage dungeons, as I like to call them. And you all know what I'm talking about, even though you're probably confused to what I mean by garage dungeons. It's the ones where you go in and you have to do like 6 mob fights before you can even get to the boss, or if there's even a boss. But you have to do like 5 to 6 freaking mob fights for some reason, and that just like really ruins my way of the thinking of the world because I just don't enjoy playing through it when I have to do those dungeons. Unless I'm playing with other people and then they go by pretty quick. But if I'm doing it solo, which most of the time I do, I just really don't like it for that main reason. Um, the world doesn't really look that crazy either, in my opinion. I really do like the way it looks. When you go into the Grand Chasm and you do like that dungeon that like takes you back in time. Like I thought it looked really cool. Um, but as far as like everything, the way the world normally looks, it's not that crazy to me. And like I said the Malistaire fight was pretty good, but it's really just those dungeons that ruin the world for me, and that's just why I put it in absolute garbage. Celestia, I don't really know, to be honest. I like Celestia, but I don't like Celestia. So I think I'm just gonna put it in it's alright. Um, I mean, I do like, the Wizard City probably more, but I feel like I might like it more once I play it. Because by the time that they came out with the like the Celestia update, where like they lowered the difficulty or like made the mobs less annoying, um, added added more teleporters and like changed where the teleporters take you so that they're more in so that they're more convenient locations, and added like the new gear set that you can get, the atavistic gear is what I think it's called. Um, so I feel like with all that being said, I might like it more once I actually get to it, because by the time it came out, all of my characters on my PC account were really high level, already been through Celestia, so I wasn't gonna make a new character on my PC account to redo it. But when console version come out, I started playing it. But console literally, like a few days ago, just got the like spring and summer updates from 2025. So I think the only update we're missing now is like the Darkmoor update for console, but that's like a whole different subject. Um, but yeah, once I like play through Celestia and like start seeing all those changes, it might go up on my personal tier list. But at the moment, I'm just gonna stay and it's all right. See, Zafaria. This world is gonna be about the same thing as Celestia. I like it. It's okay. It's not the best in my opinion. But the fact that like the savannah and then like Zamunda and Zamunda outskirts is like so long, I just don't like it. It feels like it just drags because you're just running around, you're defeating a lot of the same mobs, and it's just like it drags on and it just makes you like get bored easily, in my opinion, because I don't like when I'm having to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Um, but other than that, like the world doesn't look horrible. Storyline's interesting. You like, trying to stop Morganth from which I guess I didn't even mention it, but the whole purpose of going to Celestia was to save someone or something. Yeah, because they got a distress signal, and then you end up running into Morganth at the end of the world, who just reappeared after being banished or something. I really can't remember at the moment, but that's so when you get to Zafaria, because you chase her to Zafaria because they find out that she's gonna try to reclaim her deck of shadows, which is in under Mirror Lake, which is the dungeon that you end up doing at the very end of Zafaria. Um, so I feel like the whole time we're trying to like save all the students that went to Zafaria and ended up getting like kidnapped basically. Um, and then at the end we see Morganthe talking, and she talks the prince into undoing the thing that allows her to go into Mirror Lake, and then we end up not being able to stop her, and she gets her deck of shadows. But other than that, like storyline's good, the world looks good, but it's just those long areas at the beginning that I just do not like. So with that being said, we're gonna move on from Zafaria and we're going to go to Avalon. Avalon is going to go in a really good world. Um, I really would like to put it in Triple S tier, but I think for the sake of my sanity, I guess, not necessarily my sanity, but for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna put it in really good world. The main thing stopping me from putting it in Triple S tier is I don't like how like your whole purpose of going to this world is to like get the Sword of Kings, and then when you finally get it, it's such a bad wand that you either trash it or you put it in your house or it stays in your backpack and you just don't use it. And it just bothers me that it's like such a bad wand, because you would think with it being like the sole purpose basically of us going to Avalon, because it's the only thing that can combat Morganth's deck of shadows apparently, that it would be a good wand. But it's just not. It is so not a good wand. I don't even remember what the stats are, but I just remember them being so bad. Um, but other than that, like aesthetically, I really like the way the world looks. It's really interesting. I like the quest. I like the storyline. I really like the part towards the end before you go into like the dungeon before the final one, where you get to like turn into Gamma and you do the whole dungeon as Gamma. That was pretty interesting. Um, And then the final dungeon was really good, you know, fighting the Pendragon, and you gotta fight the two dragons to like save King Artorias is really good. Like I said, the only reason it's not going into Triple S tier though is probably because of the Sword of Kings just being like absolutely garbage. And speaking of absolutely garbage, we're towing Azteca straight into absolutely garbage. I'm not even gonna waste my breath explaining why Zafaria is absolutely garbage. I feel like a lot of people probably like Zafaria, and I don't even know why I'm saying Zafaria. Good lord, I am talking about Azteca. Sorry, Azteca, absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. I guess I was looking at Zafaria. um, Azteca to me is just so bad. I don't like how long the world is. I don't like the way the world looks, and the storyline to me is completely weird and pointless in my opinion. It's just a whole world of us like chasing Morganth and doing absolutely nothing basically, because the whole world ends up getting destroyed in the end anyway. Technically. So we're just trying to go on and move on to Chrysalis. And I would put Chrysalis in It's a Good World mainly because of part two, but because it's not separate, I'm just gonna put it in the It's Alright, and I'll put it above Celestia and Zafaria. Um, Chrysalis part one, absolutely garbage, absolutely garbage. It is really long. Like Chrysalis, I think if I'm not mistaken, has almost 300 quests, if not over 300 quests. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's like almost 300. And part one, it's about half and half, but part one is like long and it's boring. It's just so boring. You're like fighting a lot of the same mobs over and over again. I swear, like blue razors and like little crawling dudes, like right inside the gate to the last wood, and then like the hornets and stuff. Like you fight some of those people so many times that it's just not even funny. And but like part two, you know, like when you get to Crescent Beach and the Ruined Alcazar and Radiance Reborn and Sardonyx and all that. Like I really enjoy all of part two. It like gets my attention a little more. Like I'm bored out of my mind questing through part one, but it's like as soon as I get part two, I'm wide awake, ready to play the game. It's just catches my attention. It looks better to me and it's more interesting. Um, but yeah. And then next world that we are going to have is going to be Polaris. Now, I don't care what anyone says. Polaris is the top of Triple S tier world. If you know, you know. But if you do every Polaris quest, including all side quests, main quest, everything, you get the Polaris Best World badge. And I don't care. Polaris is probably the best world in the game. So I'm not even going to argue with that badge. I like the way the world looks. I like the quest line. Everything there is just so nice, so fun to play through. And just the whole vibe of it is really good. And I know that people probably think, you know, oh, well, everybody thinks that Polaris is just such a good world, but it's actually garbage. And I don't care. This is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but it's mine. So, yeah. The next world, I wouldn't really count as a world, but it technically is going to be Arcanum. Um, I mean, I don't even know what I would put Arcanum as because I'm just gonna put it at really good world, I guess, because I mean it's basically Ravenwood 2.0. It's basically Ravenwood but better. So you know, I like all the teachers. I like that we get new teachers later in the game, and they all look pretty nice. They're all like from the different worlds, so that makes it interesting too. Um, and then I like I like Librarian Fitsum, even though he can be annoying sometimes. And then just the way the world looks is pretty cool. And then you know Sybil being in the background. Every time you come through the spiral door, you can turn around and look at her, and then you can also see her like right here in the picture. Um, I just like everything about it. It's like really cool. It's really cool of a world or a little area world thing. But moving on to Mirage, I'm going to put it also in triple S tier world. Um, it's to me it's a triple S tier world because I like the way that it looks. I like the storyline, and I'm trying not to sound repetitive. And every world I'm like, oh, I like the storyline, oh, I like the way it looks. I'm not meaning that. Like, I have other reasons. It's just, can't really think of them off the top of my head at the moment. Um, Ignore that. I didn't mean that. I can think of them. I'd just rather not bore y'all sitting here talking about why these worlds are my favorite worlds for like 20 minutes. Um, so I'm trying to like do this because I want y'all to have some kind of content from me to watch. And like I said, I'd rather not sit here and bore y'all for 20 minutes about why each one of these worlds are in Triple S, why they're really good, all right, garbage, da 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 da. So we're just gonna move on from that. Um, well, before I move on, um, I really like the final fight of the world. It's interesting. I think they made it to where it's not as hard anymore, but like the grandfather spider fight is still, pretty difficult if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do know if you have a whole team of people that know what they're doing, it's really not that difficult. You can get through it pretty easy. Um, Empyrea, I'm not gonna lie, Empyrea Part One is kind of like it's okay, and then I think Empyrea Part Two is probably my favorite. So I'm gonna put it like I'm gonna put it above Marleybone. I don't think it's above Avalon for me, because I think I just like the way Avalon looks more than Empyrea. Well, Empyrea Part One is like kind of whatever. Xanadu looks okay, um, and whatnot, but like whenever you get to like Part Two and you go to the Nimbus Citadel and like the aeroplanes and all that stuff, like that all looks pretty cool. Um, but like I said, I think I just like the way Avalon looks better, so I'm gonna leave it there. I like the whole storyline. You go there um, to find. Well, you're trying to find. You're going to Empyrea to look for something, if I'm not mistaken. I cannot remember for whatever reason why we go to Empyrea. Um, you go to Empyrea, the ship crashes, you end up running into uh, Khan, and have to fight him, and then we help him get back to Xanadu, and then we help him reclaim the city and everything, and then going to, like I said, the Nimbus Citadel, and into the aeroplanes, and the Whirly Burly game is all right. I don't play it every time I quest through Empyrea, but I do every now and then because like I said, it's pretty interesting. But other than like all that, I just really think that it's a good world based on the quests, and, fighting the Cabal, and the Medulla fight used to be so ridiculous, but thankfully they've made it so easy. The only part about, and I think it's the same with the Storm Titan. Like I remember that, I swear that used to be like so difficult, and then they like nerfed it where it's not as bad. Because I remember doing it like when it first came out, and it was so annoying. Um, but yeah, other than that, like Empyrea is a really good world. Save uh, you save them from destroying Grandfather Spider's heart, and then him and Grandmother Raven reconcile, and they become lovers again, or whatever in the world you want to call it, whatever you want to call their drama they got going on. um, yeah, like I said, overall, Empyrea is a really good world. Like it. Um, Karamelle is going to be the next world. I think I'm just gonna put it at it's all right. I think I'm gonna put it above. I'm gonna put it above Celestia. Um, the thing like the music when you first go into Caramel is like so annoying. It makes me want to pull my hair out every time I hear it. Um, the world looks all right though. The main thing I don't like is the freaking final fight of the world. That like whole like turn thing. You have to like kill the minions. I think like you have to kill the set of three minions like three times I think before you can even kill the boss. And then each like few rounds it does like the new cycle. It gives you a spell that you can't discard, so you have to use it. And then their spells are like so annoying. So if you don't have like a whole team of people that know what they're doing, that fight is like so annoying. And then most of the time people just get annoyed of it and leave. So then you're like having to requeue, which nobody ever wants to team up for that for some reason. Um, at least when I'm there, like it's like every time I get to the final fight of Caramel, I cannot find nobody to team up with me. It's really annoying. So then I have to like focus on like rely on Discord or something to find people to help me. But I think that's really the main thing. I'm just like I don't I just don't like the whole like theme of the world. It kind of gets on my nerves. So for that, I think I'm gonna put it in all right. It's not so bad that I'd put it in garbage, but it's good enough that I'll just put it in all right. Next one's Lemuria. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I've only been through Lemuria like once or twice. I think I've been through it twice. I'm currently there on my Death Wizard. I'm at like the beginning on my Death Wizard on my console account. But I'm currently taking a break from my Death Wizard to play on my Balance, which is, the walkthrough for the channel. Um, so I can't, I don't like, I've played it, so I can't really put it in haven't played yet. But like, from what I remember, it wasn't like crazy of a world, so I guess I'll put it in it's alright. It wasn't like garbage. It was interesting, you go to the different places to collect the stones, to open the gate in like the main area, which is what's in the world picture. Like that little gate right there, you had to collect all the different like element stones, all like the school stones or whatever to open the gates. That was pretty cool. And then like fighting the people that doing that eight person boss fight at the end. I remember that being really annoying when it first came out, but I'm pretty sure they nerfed it too, so it's not as hard anymore. Um, I remember the first time I did that, like I teamed up with people and I got in there and they were like spamming the chat, telling you like what to do, which was nice because I did not know what to do. I was just like stressed out of my mind, thinking that this eight boss fight was about to be the hardest thing in the game, and it was at the time. But like I said, they nerfed it, so it's not as hard anymore. I think the bosses don't have as much health as they used to, also, so that kind of helps. But if I remember correctly, you do like the whole like you aura, uh, you aura or blade, and then like everybody AOE's on round two on like one side, and then after you kill that whole side, um, you flee and come back, and then you repeat the process to the other side, and it's just not that hard anymore. And that's like all there was to it. So yeah, like I said, I haven't really done Lemuria enough, and the rest of these worlds, as far as like Novus and Wallaru and Selenopolis on the list, are probably going to be the same story because I've only Lemuria is the one I've done the most on my characters. Novus is second, and I've only done Wallaru one time, as well as Selenopolis one time. So those are going to be like really kind of like we're going to go through those quickly because I don't know enough of the world. I can't really remember enough from the world to really remember how it was, um, to an extent. Um, I thought Novus was pretty cool, like the design of it. I thought the design was pretty cool. I remember for some reason being stuck on like that first fight whenever you would like come into the world, like when everything was like still like pixelated or whatever, and you had to fight like that wolf. Um, and I remember just giving you like random spells or something, and it would get on my nerves. But then I finally got past it, and then the rest of the world was like really easy. I think the only other boss I remember had a fight problem with was like that puzzle boss or whatever, like in that weird dungeon where everything was like twisted and turned around all crazy. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Well, I said moving on because I haven't played these worlds enough to really talk that much about them. I'm just really these are just gonna go based on like what I thought about how they looked. I think Wallaru is going to go into the it's all right, probably above Chrysalis. Um, world looked okay. I'm not really the craziest fan of how the world looked, but it is what it is. A lot of the fights were really annoying. I remember, if I remember, it was like Freddy Croker or something like that fight was really annoying. And there was a few other fights that I really struggled on, even with like team ups. Um, but maybe they've nerfed them where they're not that bad now. I said I've only done Wallaroo one time, so I can't really speak on it. Um, Same with the next world here, like Selenopolis. Like I'm gonna put it, and it's a good world just because, mainly because I'm gonna do the same as I did with Empyrea. I'm gonna put it above. No, actually, I think I'm gonna put it above Avalon too. The world looked really good. That's the main reason it's going in this high up and really good world, because I really liked the design of it. I liked the design of all like the new spells you got. Um, Spells were really nice. I think the only part that I didn't really like was the part where you had to like fight the different like the bards, and you had to like choose which person you wanted to, like you had to go around and save or like defeat the bosses or whatever, like Anubis and all those people, and then like they joined your team kinda. kind of thing. So whenever you got to like the bard fight, you like had to pick which one you wanted to use for each fight, and it was really confusing to me. But the way the world looked, and from what I can remember of the quest line, it was an alright. And mainly because it's like a added on version kind of Krokotopia. It's like an added on area. And I already liked the way Krokotopia looked. It's also why it's getting so high on here. Um, Grizzleheim, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like Grizzleheim. Like, I don't like, you don't get a lot of XP, and I don't like questing through it because each area is so long. Um, it's not like really bad, but like I said, I just don't like the way the world looks. Well, I don't have a problem with the way the world looks. I don't like how long the areas are, and I don't like that you don't get a lot of XP. That's my main two problems with Grizzleheim, and we're gonna move on from there. Wintertusk, on the other hand, is probably a triple S tier world. Um, the reason I took back what I said about I don't like the way Grizzleheim looks is because if I said that, and then what I'm about to say for Wintertusk, it just really wouldn't make sense. I like the way Wintertusk looks. It's really cool to me. So technically, Grizzleheim would be the same. It's basically the same thing. Um, but Wintertusk is getting so much higher on the tier list because you get so much HP, so freaking much HP. When you do Wintertusk, you want to do every main quest, every side quest. Like, you don't want there to be a single quest left in Wintertusk by the time you're done. And you will probably get, depending on what level you are when you start it, at least 10 to 15 levels throughout the whole thing. I'm saying that based on what I did. I quested on my Storm on my console account right after she finished with Marleybone. I went and did Grizzleheim, and then realized that they took away the level gap or the level cap for when you could do each area of Grizzleheim. Because it used to be you had to be a certain level to do each area. And apparently they changed it. So I went ahead and did all of Grizzleheim and then started Wintertusk. And just for where I'm at already, I've probably gained. I'm only in like the second area, I think, of I could still be in the first. I really don't remember. I'm pretty sure I'm still in the. I'm in the second. But either way, I'm either in the first or second area, and I've already gained like 5 or 6 levels, which is freaking crazy. And that's just main quest. Like, I haven't even done side quest yet. But like I said, and that's mainly because I went there literally right after finishing Marleybone, and then like I said, I did Grizzleheim. So I was still relatively a low level, but I had people, helping me. So that's part of the reason I've been able to do as much in Wintertusk as I have, because obviously a Storm who's not technically a high enough level to be doing Wintertusk, I'm gonna struggle. Like, I don't even think I have Stormlord yet, so I'm still having to like use Tempest. And since like the bosses and stuff can crit, and Storm has like really bad health, and I don't have a lot of resist, but since I'm so lower level, they do a lot of damage, and some of them can even one shot me. So it's a struggle. Um, but other than that, I really like the way the world looks, how much XP you get, and the storyline's really good. Finally getting to see Grandmother Raven, assuming that you do Wintertusk before you do Empyrea, because you do see Grandmother Raven in Empyrea, and you also see her at one point during Polaris, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure you do. Um, but yeah, moving on to Wysteria. Um, the way Wysteria looks good. Okay, I like the way it looks, but it's going in absolutely garbage because I don't like. One, it's a side world, so you don't really have to do it. But I normally do it just because I would like to. Um, 'Cause I like the whole like aspect of going to like a rival school and beating up everybody and bringing home the trophy, I guess. Um, but the main reason that this is going in absolutely garbage is because if you look at the talking and walking compared to actual fighting in the world, it is freaking ridiculous. Like, it'll take you over an hour or two to do Wisteria, but like 30 to 45 minutes of that is fighting, maybe. The rest is freaking walking back and forth to all the different people that Belladonna Crisp sent you talking to, and then they turn around and tell you to come back to her, and then she's like, oh, well, go back and tell them this, and it's just like that for like an hour. So that's like Wisteria is so long just because you have to freaking walk around everywhere and there's not teleporters taking you to anywhere. And that's my main problem, and that's why I really don't like Wisteria that much and why it's going absolute garbage. Let's see here. You got Aquila, so this is gonna be like Mount Olympus, Atlantia, and the underworld, like so where Hades is. Let's be honest, everybody does Mount Olympus, but I really don't think that anybody does Atlantia or the underworld anymore. Atlantia, I've just never really cared for, and the underworld is just too hard to farm in my opinion. Um, and I'm pretty sure other people think the same way. I think that's why you can't literally ever find anyone doing it. Um, so yeah, like we're just gonna leave it at that. Like other than the Mount Olympus gear being, really good for the level that you get it and getting Styre and Hosta, which is probably, the one that you'll use up until like level 90 to 100. Uh, I normally use it up until the Shadow Tree right before you fight Morganth. But I'm pretty sure the wands that drop from that fight is like level 100, but those wands are pretty good for level 100 compared to the Darkmoor wand that you get from Castle Darkmoor dungeon, which is really bad. Um, but speaking of absolutely garbage, we're gonna throw freaking Catacombs at the top of the freaking list for absolutely garbage. Catacombs is so boring. Well, it's not necessarily boring. The aspect of it's kind of cool, like discovering this whole like underground, uh, like thing from like ages before us in the game. Um, and seeing like the people who used to inhabit Wizard City before Merle Ambrose came and turned it into Wizard City. Um, and seeing like how Dragonspyre tried to come and take it over, but the tree minders like fought them back or whatever, and all that's pretty cool. But like all the bosses are ridiculously annoying, especially the very final, like the last three, but mainly the very last one. I cannot think of the name of it off the top of my head, but that thing is so annoying. I think on like my one of my characters on my PC account did like all of Catacombs up until that very final fight, and I could not beat it with like anybody I've played with to do that dungeon, like team up or getting help from Discord. Like we have not been able to beat it, and it just gets on my nerves. So I've just the Devourer is the name of the fight. I just randomly thought about it because I was sitting there thinking about how he like devours you randomly, and that's very annoying, and to me just makes the game ridiculous to play. Uh, so that's why I just really don't like it and why it's going to the top of absolute garbage. Um, Castle Dark, like the world Darkmoor, I haven't played yet because I haven't played on my console. I mean, on my PC account in a while, and it's only out on PC. Like it hasn't come out on console yet. That's the um, well, I think if you don't count the spring update from this year, and then I think summer test realm is about to come out, or it already has come out. I'm really not sure. Um, but the fall update from 2025 is the Darkmoor update. So eventually, when console gets it, maybe later this year, maybe early next year. I'm really hoping it's this year, so I can play it for the first time, hopefully. Um, yeah, I haven't really played it, but from what I've like watched videos of it, it looks pretty interesting. But I'm not gonna rate it based on what I've watched because I'd rather play through it and get my opinion of it before I like try to rate it somewhere. Um, and then this one, I literally had to look up what this even was. This is like the Tale of the Four Dungeons or whatever. If I'm not mistaken, they said it was like Kimbalung Village, like that little side area that you get through from like going through Krokotopia, um, Barkingham Palace, Zigzag, and Castle Darkmoor is the four dungeons. And let's be honest, I've only ever done Zigzag, like the entirety of the Zigzag dungeons, like once. So I can't really rate it based off that. The Kimbalung, I've done it, but it's been so long that I do not remember. Don't think I think I've done Barkingham Palace one time. So the only real thing that's carrying this for me is going to be the Castle Darkmoor dungeon. And I'm just going to put it in It's Alright, like above Celestia. And that's mainly just because, like I said, Castle Darkmoor is the only dungeon that you do that you really do of the four dungeons, unless you like to farm zigzag. Like for the robe gives you mass prism at level 60 instead of having to wait till almost level 80 to get it from the unicorn thing, the unicorn NPC in Avalon. So that's really good. Gear's really good. The spells you get, some of the spells are better than others. Just depends. Like they've changed the spells so much that it's kind of hard to know what they are anymore. But I remember like all the spells at one point used to be really good. Like the fire one used to be really good. It may still be good. Like I said, I don't know because I've changed the spell so many times. Um, I've never really cared for the life one, the hungry caterpillar, like death one, the Call of Cthulhu or however in the world you say it, it's really good. Um, I haven't really had the ice. I've never had the ice one. Um, or the myth one's pretty good. The Mystic Colossus is a pretty good one. Um, haven't had the balance one. Storm one, the glow buds. It was really good. Think I think with the since with the Darkmoor update, they added like the whole thing where you had to like have a different spell for the shadow hits. I think that changed the way the spell works, and that's probably gonna like make it lower on that kind of like list for me as far as like the Darkmoor spells. Um, yeah, like I said, other than all that, like I think this is going to be my list as far as the worlds. I had this, I don't know them because I didn't know what this was. Until I've seen, like I said, I've seen something where they were like, oh, this is representing the old Wizard City to them. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too. So this category doesn't even matter at this point. Um, Darkmoor haven't played yet, so can't say nothing about it. Um, but the my top five worlds are Polaris, the OG Wizard City, Mirage, Mooshu, and Wintertusk. Those are just really good. I enjoy playing through those. Obviously, the old Wizard City's not there anymore, but I just had it there, for the nostalgia fact, like I said at the beginning. Um, but other than all that, I really I'm hoping y'all enjoyed this video, assuming that y'all have watched it all the way through. Hopefully, y'all didn't. If y'all skipped, through to see bits and pieces, that's cool. But it does help if you actually watch the whole video, even if you just have it playing in the background while you're doing something. Um, but hope y'all enjoyed the video. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed my content so far. I do have more ideas. Um, Hopefully y'all can deal with my awkwardness as this is all new to me, so I will get better over time, hopefully. Um, but as I said, don't forget to like, subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and make sure you got notifications on so you don't forget, so you don't miss any new videos. And I hope to see you all in the next one. So with that being said, have a wonderful rest of your day slash night wherever you are, and see you next time. Bye.